We are here at 8:08. Our station is AM 1250. Our motto is news from our own backyard because our mission is to connect local people, places, and things. There's a whole lot of other stuff I usually say at the top of the hour, like girard@large.com is the website, also the Facebook and Twitter page. We are going at light speed. Why? We want to give as much time as we can to our next guest, former Louisiana Governor and Congressman Buddy Roemer. He is running for the presidency here, at least the Republican nomination for the presidency. We'll be taking your calls for the governor at 647-1250. Governor, we have about 22 minutes, so let's make
talk fast.
Well, that's what we need, a fast talking politician.
Yeah, I've been there, done that. You know how to tell when they're lying?
How's that?
Those lips are moving. You can spot it every time in Louisiana. I don't know about New Hampshire.
Well, that's why we don't talk much up here. So, except on Girard at Large from 6 to 9. So, Governor, no doubt that your name will be unfamiliar to many of our listeners here in the Manchester area. So, why don't you talk to us a little bit about who you are, why you're running, and why you're so unfamiliar.
68, from Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge.
Speaking any French up here with the locals?
I try not to. My English is bad enough. I've been out of political office for 20 years. I was governor of Louisiana, first as a Democrat, then as a Republican, changed parties. We had a one-party state. It was corrupt. The way to foster a cleaning up of a system is to have more than one party. There's a little oversight, a little competition, a little choice. Corruption begins to fade. We had the highest unemployment rate in America, 12.8% when I was elected. Our bonds were rated lower than the bonds of any state, plus the bonds of Guam. That's how bad we were.
Wow,
we were in debt up to our eyeballs. We had a corrupt governor for 3 terms. He'd never lost an election. He used to brag about the money he stole, and he said as long as he paid taxes, they couldn't put him in jail. By the way, I put him in jail.
That was Edwin Edwards, wasn't it?
Yeah, he got out of jail 5 months ago. David Duke went with him. So Louisiana was corrupt. In 4 years, we lowered the unemployment rate from 12 to 11 to 10 to 9 to 8 to 7 to 6 to 5.6. We balanced the budget for the first time in 8 years. We revised the tax code completely. We tested our teachers. It had never been done in any state in America. Gets a lot of publicity now. We did it 22 years ago.
Wow.
We gave the teachers who passed a 30% pay raise. We asked those who failed to learn how to teach. We gave them a year. And when they failed the second time, we terminated. We put our children first. We turned that state around. We had 5 bond upgrades in a single year. Now, I've been happy for that.
Sounds like you know what you're doing.
I did it. My training is in economics, Harvard, undergraduate degree, 1964, master's degree in banking, 1967. The last 20 years I've been in banking, a small bank. I'm a community banker. I'm a Main Street banker. No bailout. I have a $1 billion bank. No bailout money. No special deals. We didn't foreclose on a single mortgage holder. Now stay with me on this, Rich. Not one. We refinanced every loan. We actually met with each of our clients. We went to their home or to their office and met with them and restructured the deal. That's what a bank is supposed to do. I wouldn't run for office normally, but I don't think these are normal times. I think our country's headed in the wrong direction. Let's measure it. Our unemployment rate dropped last month to 8.6%. The reason it dropped was 315,850 people quit looking for work. Of the jobs created last month, 125,000, 96% were minimum wage jobs. You can't find anything made in America. I'm exaggerating, but only slightly. You want to turn this country around? I think you need to do two things. One, you need to have fair trade with China. You need to stop the unfair trade. I've been to China, as you know, 20 times. I know this country like the back of my hand, and I'm so tired of John Huntsman apologizing for China. I'm going to throw up at the next debate. I mean, seriously. I mean, I know his family has $1 billion invested there, and they have their hands around his throat. But stand up, John. We need fair trade. I'm not trying to stop trade. It just needs to be fair, Rich, and it's not fair now. We sold some fire engines from Louisiana in China about 15 years ago. I went over there many times, did the deal with a town called Chengdu, 8 million people. They bought the fire engines, well made. I loved every fire engine, put my hands on. About $1.25 million a fire engine. 9 years later, we delivered. The government of China held up the deal with hidden barriers, hidden tariffs, ridiculous conditions for 9 years. Their products, cheap and made by children often, flood into this country, stealing jobs from working people, and our products can't get into their country. I'm going to tell you what I want, Rich. Fair trade. And I think it is unconstitutional and unacceptable for presidents of the United States, beginning with Bill Clinton and George W. Bush, and now this president we have now, who don't have the guts to stand up to China. Number two, I think Washington needs to be cleaned out. I call it the capital of corruption. I'm the only guy running who's been a congressman, took no PAC money. Tip O'Neill used to laugh at me. He said, you know, you're the only politician that doesn't take PAC money. I said, tell me, Tip. He was Speaker of the House. I was a conservative Democrat, so he thought he could tell me what to do. I said, tell me, Tip, PAC A, who gave them their money? He said, well, we don't know that. We don't need to know that. I said, yes, we do. I'm a diabetic. I am what I eat. I've been a diabetic for 40 years. The doctor told me, you're going to be what you eat, buddy. Be careful. Eat tangerines every chance you can. Be strong. If you are what you eat, in politics, you are where you get your money. You are where you get your money. Barack Obama signed the bank reform bill. Too big to fail is still in the law. Glass-Steagall was not added to the law. Capital ratios did not go up. It wasn't bank reform. What did Barack do? He signed it. The next week he went to Wall Street, had a fundraiser hosted by Goldman Sachs, who celebrated the non-reform in the bank reform bill. It's a joke. As a diabetic, I looked at healthcare reform. I believe in healthcare reform. There are people in your listening audience who can't afford to be sick. We need to fix this problem. So what did Mr. Obama do? What did the Congress do? Insurance companies don't have to compete. Do you know that insurance companies are the only industry not under the Sherman Antitrust Act? Oh my God. I wonder why that is. The money they give, Rich. They're the largest giver to Congress and to the presidents. You know who the biggest giver to our president was 4 years ago?
Nope.
General Electric, $4.3 million.
Well,
now,
that's what you call return on investment for General Electric.
They're looking good. General Electric is looking good. They fired 28,000 Americans last year. They hired 41,000 Chinese. They've built 11 plants in China, and they don't sell a single product in China. They built a plant in China, and they sell the products in New Hampshire.
Well, but their CEO is chairman of the Jobs or Competitiveness Council or something.
Hello.
Hello. Jeff,
by the way, they don't care who wins. They were the largest giver to the Democrats. They're also the largest giver to the Republicans.
That's why I sold my stock in them.
These parties are just alike. They're in it for the money. By the way, you know who the second largest giver was?
No.
Goldman Sachs.
Goldman Sachs. Every time we say Goldman Sachs, can we bring up like the Darth Vader voice or something?
Here's the way I say
really
it.
Think
Here's what I say when I'm giving speech. I say Goldman friggin' Sachs.
Don't hold back,
Goldman friggin' Sachs. All right.
So, my issue is corruption. My issue is when a big check is first in line and everybody else disappears, this country's in trouble. We need to be energy independent. We need to deregulate small business. We need balance with the EPA. We need to put a tariff on foreign oil. We're addicted to Saudi Arabian oil. Shame on us. We send Marines on oil duty. That's not what the Constitution says. That's not what my heart says. We need to change our foreign policy. We need to have an immigration system that is complete, that sends people back to their native country when they're here illegally. We need to seal the borders. We need to protect American jobs. If a president won't do it, he's not worth his weight.
Governor, I'm torn. I'm tempted to talk to you more, so I want to hear more what you have to say, but I also would like to ask you, why do you think it is that you haven't been allowed to participate in the debates? You mentioned Governor Huntsman. I had never heard of Governor Huntsman before. The media anointed him as the best possible Republican nominee to take on Barack Obama. He didn't show any better in any of the national polls than you or Governor Johnson from New Mexico.
I was ahead of him in Florida last week.
But he's in the debates and you're not. What's up with that?
I don't know whether it's a choice.
Is it, first of all,
or an accident?
Do you think it's the media that's freezing you out, or is it your fellow candidate?
I'm not a theorist. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't know. Let me tell you how it developed. The first three, there are 10 national debates so far. There's another 10 coming. In the first three debates, I was not a formal candidate for president. I didn't announce until the second week in August at Dartmouth, here in New Hampshire. So I missed the first three debates, and it didn't bother me. I didn't think there was any problem, because we had called, and they told us, you must be a formal candidate, Governor. When you're a formal candidate, we'll let you in. No problem. I announced, I called for the next debate, and they said, well, you must have 1% at least, buddy. You can't be at 0. Well, I hadn't run for office. I'm the only guy that hadn't run for office in the last 20 years. They've all been running. I know Herman Cain has no service at all, but he'd run for office in that period of time. I hadn't run. I've been taking care of my business. I've been building banks, growing jobs, making money. That's what I do, and not in Washington, back in Louisiana. Anyway, so 1%. So we worked for 3 weeks. And we made 1%. So I called again. And they said, we've just raised the standard, buddy. It's 2%. We made 2% about 4 weeks ago in our first poll. We called again. And they said, well, it's more than 2% now, buddy. You have to raise $500,000 in the last 90 days. That's the first time, Rich, they had ever mentioned that. Here's what I've done. I've raised $335,000 in the last 90 days. Average gift, $60.45. I don't take any PAC money, no corporate money, no special interest money, no insurance money, no Wall Street money, no pharmaceutical money, $60.45. Now that's the way I was elected governor. That's the way I was elected congressman. I'm not saying that's the only way to do it, but I am comfortable being free. I am not comfortable taking a big check from a special interest. And by God, I think that's what's wrong with America. I'm going to give you a fact. 4 years ago, lobbyists and PACs in Washington, D.C. gave more money to John McCain and Barack Obama than 32 states combined. You know why no candidate is in New Hampshire this week but me? They don't give a damn about New Hampshire. They're out raising money. That's the way it is. Now, nobody speaks the truth in politics. They all move their lips and put a spin on it. I'm just telling you. Politico called me yesterday, and the captain of Politico said, Roemer, do you know you're the only SOB in New Hampshire? I said, really? I hadn't thought about it. I hadn't seen anybody in a week. I've just been going to meetings. I do about 11 speeches a day. Oh, God. And I said, I hadn't thought about it. And I said, where are they? He said, they're out raising money. Money is the issue, and I know money's important, Rich, but there are other issues. I think retail politics is dead. I think the national debates are the key now, and I feel either by hook or crook, they have shut me out. They don't want to hear this message. They don't want to hear that Mitt Romney has received 4 $1 million checks and nobody knows about it. They don't want to hear that Newt Gingrich makes his living off lobbying and influence peddling in Washington, D.C., and he would be president. They don't want to hear that John Huntsman has a super PAC funded solely by his father. Rather than legally giving the money to his son, having his son pay taxes on it, and then spend it like he wants, they formed a super PAC so they could get the money to him tax-free. This country is corrupt. Big corporations don't pay their fair share. The little guy gets stepped on, and nobody talks about it.
What one thing, and I'm going to frame it that way because we only have 3 minutes left already, Governor, and I want you to know, first of all, I think it's wrong that you aren't in the debates. I think it's wrong that Governor Johnson from New Mexico isn't in the debates. You both have substantial political records and achievement, albeit yours is 2 decades old. And I don't think the party gains. And in fact, maybe, did I pick up something not too long ago about you're potentially running as a third-party candidate?
I could. I'm a Republican, and I don't want to.
So what,
But I mean,
what was the name of the party?
It's called Americans Elect.
Americans Elect.
They're kind of a unity centrist party where they would put a Republican like me with a Democrat of my choice, and we would form a ticket. A guy like Erskine Bowles, for example, a friend in North Carolina, a Democrat, great guy, did the Simpson-Bowles report, which the president completely ignored. I mean, we would build, yeah, a Clintonite. We would build the country. I know Bill. He and I were governors together, Arkansas, Louisiana. Don't trust him yet. You know, that's the. I'd rather talk to Hillary than Bill. Now, that's going a long way. But at least you get. But let me disagree with something you said. The best part of my candidacy is not the fact that I've been out of office 20 years. It's what I've been doing the last 20 years. I've been out of Washington, D.C. I'm not a damn lobbyist. I don't receive a check on my retirement or my health benefits. I am a free man. And for 20 years I've been building a company unlike any of the other candidates. A bigger company, a more profitable company, and one less rooted to government. I just wanted to remind you, that's my strongest point. I have experience, but I have practical experience in the business world. Put them together, and I'm no Herman Cain. Put them together, and I'm no governor of New Mexico. I'm a guy on the pointed edge of financial reform, and you're not going to get a healthy country unless you do that.
I agree with you, and my point was, even though your political experience was 2 decades old, I personally still think it qualified you on its merits to participate in the debate.
Well, you know, I can't talk about myself. I'm uncomfortable saying I should be in the debate, but my ideas should be in the debate. There's not been one question on campaign reform. Not one question. Not one question on where did you get your money, Mitt Romney? You know who you work for. It's who signs your paycheck. Who signs his paycheck? Where does he get his money from? It's never been asked. We are asking.
You're right, Governor, and let me do my part here in New Hampshire to help. I will get together with your scheduler. I think that you have a voice that needs to be heard from. I've extended this offer also to Governor Johnson, but I think my listeners want to hear more. I think they should hear more. I'd like to have you in for an extended interview because what we've done in this half hour is done a great job of identifying a lot of the issues that are bothering people, but unfortunately we didn't get to your solutions.
Yeah.
And I know you've got to be in North Conway, and we have some folks coming in for our final segment, so let's get together again soon.
Healthcare reform, put nurses, doctors, and patients in the room, not lawyers and insurance companies. That's solution number 1.
Amen. All right. And on that note, Governor, how can people learn more about your campaign and your candidacy?
It's BuddyRoemer.com, and Roemer is spelled R-O-E-M-E-R. BuddyRoemer.com.
BuddyRoemer.com. Governor Buddy Roemer, thank you for joining us.
And I know you want to give me more than $100, but you can't.
Well, you know what? We can go with family and friends that will give you is there anything to report on the roadways, yes or no?